Hello, welcome back to Diecast Resurrection. Today we are working on this Matchbox super fast big banger. Clearly this thing has been customized by some kid, maybe twice. I see some green paint here on those pipes. This is one of those super fast Matchbox cars that has an extremely exaggerated motor. Like the thing's got to be this tall. This is sent in by a subscriber. Follow him on Instagram right here. We're gonna go full custom on this bad boy. This looks like it's about a 68 Charger by the looks of things. And I have somewhat of a plan for it. It's not gonna be too intense, but it's gonna be real cool. So let's get going on this. I'm sure everyone's already leaving comments on how I need to restore that lowboy trailer with the Jeeps on it. I got a couple of those. Just need the right type of truck to pull it with. Is this metal? Please be metal. It's crazy how that thing is put together. Alright. Gonna have to try to remove some paint from that fake chrome. We shall see. I'll put that aside for now. Oh yeah, another one of those nice rigid windshields. That should clean up nice. I don't know if those things are even crackable. They're so thick. Excellent. Excellent. So this was factory red. You can just see a little bit right there, and it had a big, huge sticker on the side. Not a decal, not a tampo, but a sticker. That looked like it came out of a Cracker Jacks box, and these are really collectible. But their motors always break off because they're literally this tall. I've got another motor we're going to put in this one, but it's not going to be quite as intense. It's going to be big, but not that big. So we'll get started on the paint here, and we'll move on to the other stuff after that. This is probably one of those cars where I should take your guys' advice and submerge this thing in a container filled with my paint stripper. I want to see the performance of this stripper. If the stripper will eat this up or not. There's a lot of paint on there. This thing looks like it got dipped. So I'm thinking I kind of want to make this look like a souped up Mopar Charger with a tail stripe, decal, and some bright Mopar paint. Really glossy. I think it'll look really good like that. Just going to let this chill for a little while and eat through this 1/4 inch of paint. And it should loosen it up in a minute here. I think we have found our match, paint stripper. This stuff isn't even dented. Alright, so we got red, orange, and green. It's me using this ruler making anybody cringe. That's not the right tool for the job. I'm angry. It's what happens behind the scenes that you don't see. Alrighty, let's get on with some Scotch-Brite here. Not that it matters. We're going to be doing a little bit of modding here. We're going to do some cutting. So if you're squeamish about cutting die casts, here's a disclaimer. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. Oh, wait. It's Preacher Dan. Preacher Dan has returned to us. I've been trapped on a double-decker bus for like 6 months. I'm mad at you. I'm leaving. So there's our motor. Or should I say, there's our blower. We don't have a motor, but that's okay. It's quite common when you do a build like this that a lot of times you'll just have this crazy big blower sticking out of the hood. So this hole is obviously completely wrong for what we need. So we're going to do a little bit of cutting so that we can get this mounted in there level. And then I'm going to fill in what's left with JB epoxy or JB quick weld, I'm not sure yet. And we'll do the body work, smooth all that out so it looks like it's supposed to be there. And we're going to build our own big banger. So obviously that's going to have to go lower because we don't want that gap there. I want this to look like it's coming out of the hood. So we'll use those holes as a reference. We'll just basically open this up and remove this section so that the engine can sit down there and get as low as this little shelf here. That's what I'm thinking. A couple little oopsie doopsies on here from me touching the hood with the Dremel, but that's okay. We're going to be going pretty intense on the bodywork here, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, that is just starting to fit now. It's looking better. Got our belt touching, so that is good. And what I'm going to do is we're going to fill this with my epoxy putty. JB Quick Weld itself takes so long to dry. This stuff I could have it dry in like an hour and we'll be ready to go. Cut off a little chunk of that. The sticker back on the creamy center. Peel off the weenie wrapper if we can. There we go. Just gonna mix up our two parts here. Ready. It's my intention is to leave a little bit extra under here. I can remove this stuff pretty easily with the Dremel. So I'm just going to fill in this whole void so that we can cut down the top part as much as we need. So I want to just fill in this whole hood area, make sure there's no air bubbles or anything. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. For the most part, this is just filler. We're going to be able to do some shaving and get this into shape once this dries for a bit. So I'm going to put this right on my little heat rack where I dry my paint, and this will be ready in like half an hour. It's been about 10 minutes. It's already getting hot. So I'm going to use my little knife here. And while it's still kind of wet, I'm just going to shave the big stuff off. Is this like one of those ASMRs where they're like cutting that sand? So this epoxy putty is going to be basically the filler to hide the areas of the old motor so we can cut out the area of our new motor. It's like Play-Doh for adults. Trying to get as much of my shaping done right now as I can before the stuff really hardens up, because once it's hard then it's really tough. It's not bad right now. I'm just kind of shaving it away like you would with a Bondo rasp or a rasp. Last time I called it a rasp, nobody knew what the heck I was talking about. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. That's an excellent start for the top. Almost looks like we could just paint that and it would be gone with a little bit of putty work, but cause that's one way you could fill like a sunroof hole or something you didn't like. Oh man, just found a little propane tank. We could have put the Ford on propane. Yes. That's every single quad cab Ford ever. I have no power at all. Don't mess this up, Jimmy. This is a little side cutting bit I use. It's real good. Chewing through this JB. Really don't want to mess this up or I'll be starting over. So we're going to go easy. That's as brave as I feel like being today. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller bit now. Something pretty small that I can do nice square corners with. Maybe I'll do this one. These are super cheap. If you guys like doing this kind of stuff, this is probably like $4. Link in the description if you want to see what they look like. Okay, well we got a real good fit, but I'm concerned if I paint it and clear coat it and try to stick this back in there. We're just too tight right now, so we're gonna open it up a little bit more. Alright, so we got a decent looking little engine bay in there now. So I'd like to see if this is going to just go back together here. Looks good to me. Tons of clearance. Okay. Right. Ready to start with the putty. Going to put on quite a bit. It's because we want everything to be nice and flush, and I'd rather do more sanding than not do nothing. Purpose of this putty is really just to level out everything we've done so far. So we might see a lot of gray here. Just in the end of the world. But you can see that high spot in the metal starting to come through. That would have been a bulge before. Definitely one of the rougher castings I've ever worked on. Straight from the factory. It's got all kinds of flaws on it, but I'm not worried about that. No sense spending all the time filing it off. I know the clear coat is going to make that all better. And if you don't believe me, you'll see. I don't know if I'm going to give it a wash. I'm probably just going to blow it off with air. Then we're going to shoot this with some light colored primer and have a look and see if everything's filled up and if it looks good. Okay, so I want to see if I can make like a Mopar bright lime green. This is going to be crucial. Might not be everybody's favorite color. Something similar to my stick, but a little bit brighter, I think. So we're going to start off real easy here. Need one of these. Boop. Those real bright colored Mopars is what sets them aside from all the other brands. Oh, that's a nice color. We're gonna have to keep adding the yellow to this, keep it bright. Whoa, too much. Need a little more green. I think we're there, folks. I like it. It's looking real good. So this will dry to a matte finish, and then I'm going to put a little bit of clear coat over the butt of this thing just because we're going to do a tail stripe. Last time I used a decal solvent, it actually tried to lift the paint because it's water-based. I think it's just not strong enough to counteract. So we're going to let this dry and we'll put on our decal and then we'll clear coat. Okay, charger looking good. I gave it a little spray of some clear coat, nothing fancy, just to kind of seal off my water-based paint. And I have created charger tail stripe. We'll soak quick. Just a second. I usually just dip them and then set them on the old paper towel. Got some micro set. Last time I put the micro set on to just straight water-based paint, I had a little bit of an issue, so hopefully not this time. I made this nice and long so it'll just drape off the sides. Let's see here. It's all about the angle of your dangle, if you know what I'm saying here. Well, the old decal is happiest at that angle, and I'm okay with it. Just because the body kind of does a curve because it's unrealistic, I think that's going to work out. I'm just using my brush to blot off what's left. And you can see it's starting to stick better and better as we go here. No air bubbles. Number 26, Big Banger, made in England, copyright 1972, Lesney. Well, that worked out rather well, I would say. Oh, I got a little bit more up here I got to clean up. I didn't see that before. Alright, moving on to this glass. It's already scratched up. Just going straight to a little wet sanding. It's going to remove the paint and the scratches at the same time. Every time I do this, all I can think about is all the people typing in the comments right now that brake fluid takes paint off of plastic. What? He watches other restoration channels? Of course I do. Gonna go give this a rinse with a toothbrush, get all this all cleaned up, and we'll come back and give it a dip in the Pledge, and it should be good as new. This is called Pledge Revive. You want to blot off the whatever is extra, or else you're going to have runs. There. So that should dry to a real nice finish. Initially I thought this car was painted twice because I saw some green here, but it turns out that was just the base color of the plastic. So when I scrubbed this with a toothbrush, quite a bit of the chrome came off, so I just went with it and removed the rest of that orange paint. This is gonna be epic. So what I've done, I got my brass axle tubes like I usually do. Had to lower the front quite a bit. And I got our little piece back on there. Things looking pretty good, pretty good. I don't know what this windshield is going to look like with this green body. I'm going to check it out. If it's funky, I like it. I'm keeping it. My other option was going to be to paint it black and just gloss it, but I think that just puts a little bit of a kind of a Ninja Turtle feel to it. Yeah, I like that. Guess what I could do is I'll just insert the tip. Put some of that in there. Finish it off with this. This thing's crazy. I love doing this kind of stuff, you know, like just some crappy toy. All this work, and here we are, custom engine mount. Hell yeah. I did some back end details. Nothing too fancy. Got some taillights. I'm gonna be honest, you know, this one was a lot of work, but I feel like it was worth it. I'm really happy with it. Mopar guys, don't worry about the blue windshield. It's just a toy. It's just a toy. A very awesome toy. Gotta sneak that all the way there. Like a glove. And one little screw for good measure. Can't even do my blubs properly. Oh my god, what have we created here? Let's get this up on the rotisserie. So there you go, guys. I put a lot of work into this one. I hope you appreciate it. I'm sure you do. I'm even feeling that kind of blue windshield. It's nice and dark. It's dark enough unless you really show it up in the light, but did a lot of work to this one. That hood turned out great. You'd never know that we put some, you know, JB putty there, and all looks like it's one piece. You never know what we did to this. Still no bumper yet, obviously, so I'm just going to keep putting out the projects till that thing shows up. So sorry for keeping you waiting, but, you know, is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button, because we did a lot of work to this one. You could at least throw me a like. At least. You don't have to sub. Just throw me a like. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.